Hello everybody, I am Teddy and welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be talking about the creepiest disappearances that I could find. I actually did an episode on my podcast called Teddy Trending Now about creepiest disappearances too, but I've picked a new selection of ones that I found, so go check my podcast too if you'd like to. Let's get into the first one. The first one is about Angela Hammond. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. On April 4th, 1991, Angela Hammond vanished walking with her boyfriend from a Clinton, Missouri payphone. The boyfriend, Rob Schaffer, recalls that Angela had described to him a suspicious man circling the neighborhood in a green pickup truck. He then stopped near the payphone, and since then, the 20-year-old girl disappeared. Schaffer told the police that he quickly jumped into his car and drove to where Angela was. As he was heading over, the green pickup truck drove past him. He slammed the car into reverse gear and blew its transmission. Schaffer helplessly watched as the abductor took his girlfriend away. The police initially suspected Schaffer, but they soon cleared him due to the witnesses and his alibi. What makes this case rather creepy is that it could be linked to two other Missouri disappearances earlier that year. Angela Hammond has never been found. Detectives categorized the case as a random crime since she was not doing anything wrong or suspicious. Her abductor just happened to spot her talking to her boyfriend. Why the police were not able to find a suspicious green truck with a big decal on the windows is still a mystery. That one's pretty freaky because of the other disappearances that happened around the area and that it could be linked. I mean, it's pretty creepy in my opinion. Okay, next up is James Edward Tedford. 56-year-old James E. Tedford and his 28-year-old wife, Pearl Tedford, had moved back to Vermont at the end of World War II. At the end of his second spell of military service, Tedford returned to their rented property in Fletchertown, Vermont, to find his wife missing. His close family claimed that they had no clues as to where his wife had vanished to. The only detail they had was that they last saw her walking to a Mako store when she disappeared around 1947. A lonely James Tedford checked into a soldier's home after searching for his missing wife. 2 years later, James also vanished. On December 1st, 1949, James was returning to the retirement home from Vermont when he disappeared mysteriously. The route to Bennington passed through the Green Mountain Forest. At the time, the area was renowned for creepy events such as disappearances. All 14 passengers who boarded the bus testified to seeing him there, sleeping. However, when the bus arrived at its destination, James was gone. No one had seen the old man get off the bus at any point of the journey. His luggage remained tucked on the luggage rack of the bus. So how did he disappear from that bus? Also, they both disappeared. That's just so creepy and weird. The next one is Frieder Langer. This is one of my favorite disappearances because it's just so mysterious and it gives me the chills. I literally have goosebumps. Between the 1940s and 1950s, Bennington had become notorious for the disappearances of more than half a dozen people. One of the creepiest cases was that of a 53-year-old, Frieder Langer, on October 28, 1950. Langer had gone hiking with her cousin Herbert Eisner when she disappeared. The family had set up a campsite near Somerset Reservoir. The pair had left the campsite to go on a hike in the nearby mountain. On their trip, Langer slipped into a stream. She requested Herbert to wait as she rushed back to the campsite and change her wet clothes. She never returned. Herbert headed back to the campsite and discovered Langer had not gone back to the campsite. They mounted a search operation for the next 2 weeks. The searchers used a helicopter and an aircraft in the search operation, but couldn't find any trace of her. A year later, Langer's body mysteriously appeared near the same reservoir that the searchers had extensively combed. Due to the conditions of her remains, it became difficult to determine the cause of her death. Now, I'm just now realizing that I did talk about this one on my podcast, but still so freaky. They had searched the area and then it just appeared there. This one's pretty freaky and it freaked me out. It's called the Sarah Joe. Maritime tragedies are not something new. However, things got weird when 5 friends failed to return from a fun fishing day in the Hawaiian waters. They departed in February 1979 from the coast of Maui on a small fishing boat dubbed Sarah Joe. Family, friends, and authorities mounted massive search and rescue operations to no avail. A decade later, authorities received information of the Sarah Joe's sighting on the coast of the Marshall Islands. Next to the wreck, they discovered a grave of one of the 5 missing persons. How the boat got there, who buried him, and where the rest of them were are questions that have continued to baffle researchers and historians. That's just crazy to me that his body was buried. Like, who buried his body? How did the boat get there? Like, there's just questions that, like, can't be answered because they're just so weird. Anyway, that's gonna be where I close off this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you want more videos like this, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you know anytime I post a new video. Bye!